Coming up on the Merge Out Loud, Flatfoot 56 is hanging out in the Merge Studios with Tower. Stay tuned.
Hey, welcome to the Merge Out Loud. My name is Tower. This show is filmed here in the Merge Studios in Chicago, Illinois, and we've had bands from all over the country in. It's so cool to kind of bring things back home and have a band in that's just miles from the studio here. Southside Irish Celtic punk band, Flatfoot 56. It's a lot to stick in a name, you know?
Absolutely.
So first of all, thanks so much for being on the show. It's kind of really surreal to know that you guys were teenagers at the same shows I was at 10 years ago, and we'd see each other around, and we were just kind of little punk kids, and here we are.
Pushed you around a little bit.
Yeah, in the pit. You guys are so tied in, not just to the city, but to your actual neighborhood in the music that you make, the whole Celtic punk rock scene going on. You want to tell me about that, just where you grew up and how this is, they're so tied together, the neighborhood and the sound?
Sure. We're from the south side of Chicago, so that's a real working class, blue collar. Everybody in our area is very hardworking, family oriented kind of thing. So that, because our music is a very cultural type of sound, it has a lot to do with what our environment is. The pride of being from working class families and that kind of thing. So that's played a big part in it. We're from the Midway Airport area here in Chicago, and so our neighborhood, we make references to our street often. And things like that. So, you know, any musician wants to write music based on what you know and what's real to you and what you've experienced, and be honest. That's, in order for us to be honest about who we are, we got to be honest about where we're from, and really just tell the stories of our lives and our experiences, and that's where the true meaning of a song can come out.
Yeah, and one of the cool things about how this band works is that it takes a long time to put a band like this together. And what I mean by that is you start playing guitar or drums, it's not that hard to learn. You have a bagpipe player, and that takes years and years and years and years. And really outside of areas like Chicago, where there's a large Irish population, like nobody puts their kid in bagpipe lessons, you know?
Unless you're the awkward family in the small town you're from. But yeah. It's a hard instrument, I think.
Yeah, even once you start, you play for a year on a chanter without the bag and pipes. You know, it's just, you got to practice everything over and over again. And then you get a bag on top of that, and you got to practice that over and over again. So it takes a long time to get proficient at it. So.
And speaking of the neighborhood, we're going to go ahead and check out the video for Brotherhood here in just a minute. You guys have filmed all your videos in your neighborhood, close to where you're at. You want to just tell me kind of where this is at and kind of what the feel is on the video and how that ties into the song?
Sure. The Brotherhood video was filmed at a place, actually in Orland Park, so it's a little south of us, but it's a south suburb of Chicago. It was an Irish pub restaurant that was actually built by Irish carpenters from Ireland. They actually had them all come over, create and design the whole place and set it up that way. And we went in there and asked them if we could shoot a music video there, and they were like, well, if the Bears aren't playing in the Super Bowl, you can do your video here. And so we set it all up, and for about 6 hours, one Sunday afternoon, we tore the place up. And by the end of it, the lady who had us in said, "Please leave." And it was a lot of fun, and I think you'll understand when you see the video. But it was a fun time.
Real quick, tell me what the song's about too.
Brotherhood is basically talking about camaraderie amongst people around you, and making sure that your focus and what you've built your friendships around is something that's solid and firm, and not something that can fall apart or decay very easily. And talks about having a firm foundation based in prayer and based in just keeping your head on straight. And that's something that a lot of people, we had to learn early on going to those shows, you know, when we were kids, is you can get a hot head really quick. You got to make sure you keep focused on the right things. So
the video is called Brotherhood. We're going to actually check it out off of your first album, which we've got right here on the old school vinyl format, which we're so happy to see coming back. Flatfoot 56, the video is Brotherhood on the Merge Out Loud. Flatfoot 56, the video is Brotherhood here on the Merge Out Loud. Coming up, we talk about the band's time overseas and how they're able to share their faith in places like Japan, England, and the Netherlands. It's the Merge Out Loud. This is the Merge Out Loud. We're with Flatfoot 56, who actually spent some time in Europe this year.
Yes.
And it's really cool. You guys have got a fan base in Japan, you've got a fan base in the Netherlands, and you've got a fan base in England, is where you see a lot of Flatfoot 56 fans outside the United States. Festival called Flavo, correct?
Yeah, Flavo is in Holland. We played it for 2 years in a row, right?
Yeah, about 15,000 people you guys were on the main stage this year, which has got to be a really cool experience. What's that like to go into another culture where English is not the official language, and to share these songs and to see people react like this?
It's awesome, man. It's you go there and there's a lot of subtleties that are very different. Than there's a lot of stuff you recognize to be like, wow, this is how we do stuff in America as well. But it's really interesting, you know. You go and I think the Netherlands is a good starter for bands because they do have a really good English-speaking side. You know, everyone speaks English very well, so that makes it a little easier, but it's a lot of fun, for sure.
They're very warm people as well, so it's really nice to kind of go and visit. And we're all very tall guys in the band, so they're all huge as well.
Yeah,
so
they're
we're
the
not,
tallest nation on earth.
our first overseas trip was to Japan, so making the switch, you know, like the Japanese people are very small, so yeah, Dutch people are a lot bigger, and so you feel more at home, you know, for us at least.
And it's really cool from the side of sharing your faith. You go into these places, and there is no divide between Christian and mainstream music. It's just you're a band. That's who you are. You go play. Yeah. You want to tell me about that? Just going in and sharing these songs that are very blatantly spiritual with the people that may not understand fully what you're saying.
Well, the cool thing about Europe is that the Christian festivals is like a 60-40. 60% of the people there are Christians and 40% of them aren't. It's very open to everybody, which is something I really liked. It was really kind of neat to see that because, you know, we as believers are called to be set apart, but we're not. We're in this world too, and we need it. I mean, all of us have friends that aren't believers, and so why should we have a separate, you know, show your ID, you know, before you can come in a festival?
Yeah, show your Christian.
yeah, right. Which all of us know that that's not the case in most places, but it's just definitely a cool thing. Honestly, the biggest thing that Flatfoot goes back to is if every musician needs to be real with what they're talking about, at least. The stage performance is a little different, but you know, you're having fun and going crazy. But when it comes down to the content of what you're talking about, it's your life. Otherwise, it's not. Otherwise, you're selling something, and we're not selling anything. We're talking about what really matters to us and what we really believe about our struggles as people, about how we're not perfect and how we struggle just as along with everybody else. And so honestly, I think people in general have a good idea of what genuine people are. They want to see people that are genuine and straightforward and honest, not blowing any smoke, but just being honest about where they're at. And because our faith is such a big part of our life, I think that kind of comes through, and that's, you know, we'll share and we'll be honest and be straightforward. So
yeah, tell me what those conversations look like, because except for the very biggest pop acts in the world, bands still spend time with their fans. Mm-hmm. When people come and just kind of dialogue with what these songs are about, what you guys believe, what do those look like?
It's very interesting. What's cool about being a musician as well is that people can take from their own experiences and relate to what you're writing about. And that's something that's kind of neat to hear what people have to say about what they perceived your song was about. And sometimes you don't want to ruin that because it was a profound song in their life. Maybe it influenced them in a way that was really beneficial for them.
Sometimes they're way far off, and you're like, oh, wait,
I need to correct you, my friend.
That song.
We're going to go into a video here in just a second called Warriors. And there's something in it called the Braveheart, which you guys have kind of patented as your thing. This happens in concerts. You divide the room. Where did this ever come from? Just from watching the movie, and tell me what this is. The
Braveheart is actually an old punk and metal kind of move. It's not something that we created, but it's a fun thing. I grew up, we were talking about this a little earlier, it was just growing up in the 90s in the punk and ska era and watching shows that actually was not just the band playing, but it was the crowd.
You were there to participate.
Yeah, and we were there to make the show, not just watch it. And so we as a band have always really valued the use of people in the crowd. I mean,
antics.
That's what punk is. It's the whole room going crazy, not just a band on stage.
And it's not just music, it's truly a community.
Yeah.
We're going to get in the video real quick. You're in a garage here. Is this your actual garage?
It's our actual
You're
garage.
literally a garage band at this moment.
Yeah. We shot this video. We grabbed all of our buddies from the neighborhood. So a lot of the guys that you see in the video are all kids that grew up listening to Flatfoot and going to Flatfoot shows. Our new bagpiper is in the video. If you look very closely, he's sitting up on kind of a filing cabinet in the garage that we're playing in. So
The album is called Jungle of the Midwest Sea. It's Warriors from Flatfoot 56 on the Merge Out Loud. Warriors from Flatfoot 56 on the Merge Out Loud. Coming up, we talk about why the band has decided not to change when others have. This is the Merge Out Loud. My name's Tower. We're with Tobin and Justin from Flatfoot 56, which you're celebrating 10 years as a band now, right?
yeah, 2010 is our 10th year.
One of the really cool things about you guys is you've really made the decision not to change in so many ways, because we've seen so many bands in this decade, whatever the trend is right then, they run full force that way. And this year we've seen so many bands that have been other things turn to the bands that are wearing the bright colored t-shirts and doing 80s synth pop because that's what they think sells right now. You guys have been a Celtic punk band 10 years ago, you were a Celtic punk band 5 years ago, you're a Celtic punk band in 2010, right? Tell me about just kind of staying true to that and why you haven't chased after all these other things.
Well, honestly, we don't like most everything. Well, we got to have fun doing this too, you know? Yeah, the shows are fun, but yeah, you can't go, 10 years or even a year, playing something you don't like and still remain true to yourself, I think. So this is something we definitely enjoy, and we always have enjoyed it, so I think that's a big part of it for me, at least. So
I think we're a band that's addicted to very strong reality. Not saying that anybody who plays anything else is not being real. It's not the case. It's just it's community-based. Punk rock is a community-based music style. Celtic punk is a culturally community-based style. So it's something that you don't get away from. You are a Celtic punk band. You are a punk band. You can choose to walk away from that, but you can't leave behind the family that you've grown up around. We grew up going to a club over here called the Bottom Lounge, when we were younger, and going to see shows there and seeing a lot of good shows where we built friendships, just like
when
we
you're
did
15, 16 years old and you want to pay $5 to get in to see the band, and that's a big deal on a Friday night.
Yeah. And when it's the only $5 you got in your pocket for the week, it's something that really starts to mean something to you because you don't take it for granted. And so it's definitely, I don't know, I think, like Justin said, you got to love what you do.
Yeah.
If you don't love what you do.
And I love how the roots of this music genre actually tie in really with the Christian faith. And that may sound odd, but punk rock was
a lot of people
born in America in a little music venue called the CBGB in New York City. And it was just these kids who were getting together and playing 2- and 3-minute songs. And this cultural movement has gone out to influence mainstream American culture for the last 30 years. Yeah. Where do you see kind of the reasons that people get into the punk scene? How do you see those lining up with Christianity?
There's a big argument between the two worlds, and an argument that we've actually had to throw our 2 cents in on in a lot of ways. The reality is that punk rock is about being different. It's about being countercultural. And I think the thing that drew a lot of kids to it was the fact that it was a celebration of the oddities of people. The Ramones, one of the first punk bands, were a very weird group of people, and that's what everybody loved about them. It wasn't a polished group of guys. It was a group of really quirky, really strange individuals that really were very real and very straightforward. And all the punk bands throughout the ages have been an element of that. And so I think the thing that we really latched onto was the community. And growing up in church, the body of Christ is called to be a family. So that was something, us being mostly a family in Flatfoot, 3 of us are brothers, that's something that we could really relate to. And the thing I always loved about punk in general was that it was community-based. It could be at times a violent community.
But it's still something you believe in the end.
Yeah, right? Well, and there's elements of it that I don't and wholeheartedly don't believe in that I would very heartily disagree with.
But this is where God's put you guys, and that's so cool you're out there to share your faith. We're going to go ahead and check out the video right now. It's called The Hourglass. The new album is out on St. Patrick's Day 2010. In 10 seconds, set this up for me.
It's awesome. The video is a shot of Cornerstone Music Festival. It's a fiesta themed, which we do theme shows most years at Cornerstone. And so this year went off a little crazy. There's some elements of it that were just outrageous. So
a Celtic punk band wearing sombreros. The most unique video we have ever shown on the Merge Out Loud. video is Hourglass from Flatfoot 56. Coming up, we talk more with the Celtic punk band about their future plans. It's the Merge Out Loud. I'm Tower with Tobin and Justin from Flatfoot 56. It's been 3 years since you've had an album come out, right?
About 3 years, yeah, going on.
St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, 2010. The new album is called The Black Thorn. Tell me what it was like this time around after having such a long break from doing any new music together. Like, what happens when you get back in a studio and start to create something new?
It was cool. It was kind of like, I don't know, putting on an old pair of shoes, I guess, again. And they fit real well, but it took a little bit to get back into it, recording again, because it's a difficult process for, at least for us as a band. But we had a really great producer, Johnny Rio from the Street Dogs, and he worked with us really. It was like friends hanging out, you know, in a room playing music. So it was a lot of fun. Got all recorded down, and we're really happy with the end result, and really happy with kind of the way it turned out compared to our other albums. So it is different, but still us, and we're excited about that. So
we spent a lot more time. We did a lot more pre-production and development of this record, and really put our heart and soul into it. And I think everybody that we've let hear pre-release has been like, man, this is a lot more developed and more mature for you guys. It's really cool.
Part of that is you're maturing just as people. You guys are getting married and kind of getting into new stages of life, and that's actually affected the writing of the songs, right?
Absolutely.
Also had a lot of experiences on the road. I mean, part of the reason why it was 3 years was, well, we toured like, you know, constantly for 3 years, so there wasn't much time to write a new album, and I guess we didn't think about it too much while we were on the road. You know, it's more about get as much sleep as you can.
Yeah. One of the really cool parts about you guys being so open about your faith and sharing it with people that may not have really even understood like what Christianity is and what Jesus is. They've never had that explained to them. You always close with the same song every single time, no matter where you're at, and that's Amazing Grace.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons we do that is because, Amazing Grace is something that means a lot to Christians and non-believers as well. People that just, everyone can relate it to something, a deep meaning in their life. Most people have had it played at a funeral of somebody that they've missed, or they remember it being played in a movie they saw, or something like that. Even when we were, like I said, when we were in Japan, we had Japanese kids singing Amazing Grace with us, and it crosses every culture, every group of people knows that song. And so I think when it comes to our faith, it's something that we can all unify under, being that most of our fans are not Christians. A lot of them are not. But it's something that they can really see. And a lot of people have walked up to us and said, you know, I really feel something when you play that song. I really feel, I don't know what it is, but I feel good. And Christians are like, dude, that was awesome. That was totally God. You know what I mean? And it's something that really, it matters a lot, and it means a lot. And that song was written out of a complete and thorough, humbling moment for a guy who really, it was a turning point in his life, and he really changed a lot of things. So that's a profound thing. So
if you've never locked arms with a total stranger at a concert, Flatfoot 56 is your chance. You want to show us what that looks like?
Yeah, it's like this,
like
throwing
this?
her up around, yeah.
Okay, and then we'll sing it, right?
Football huddle.
With that person.
Yeah, and you throw them, you know?
We're going to leave you with the video of that. Flatfoot 56, Tobin and Justin, really appreciate you guys being on the show. The album is called The Black Thorn, out on St. Patrick's Day 2010. The Merge Out Loud.